Okay, so for this video we're going to do two things. One, we're going to define a function, and then we're going to use that function in order to run across a series of values. So this is a very simple example where we're going to determine the area of a rectangle. We have a length and we have a width. And what we want to do is develop a function which will essentially give us the equation length times width equals our area. And then we want to develop another routine that will essentially run it for all values that we have. This is a very easy problem for this small problem, but when you get larger data sets, it may be beneficial to have a function which is able to rapidly run the function across all data points. So what we'll do is we will open our VBA window, hit Alt F11, and we'll get started. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to develop a function, and we'll call it get area, and we'll have two elements. We'll have our length, and we'll define as a double, and then width as double. And it's going to be very simple. It's going to be get area equals length times width. So you may see, examples with functions that are a series of equations nested within this. This is just a very simple example that we're going to show you. So that's it. So our function is going to be length times our width. Now what we want to do is run that across all 10 of our data points. So we'll say sub run area. Well, first we want to define our data set, so we'll say last row equals range A1 is current region rows count. All right, so this will essentially define our range that we're looking at and count up the rows. And you're going to see why this is important. This is going to be important for our loop function that we're going to use in a little bit. So now we're just going to put for row equals 2, because we want the first calculation we want to do is in row 2 to last row. So we want to do it from 2 all the way to our last row, and remember our last row was defined here. Sorry, I had a space in last row. We're going to say cells row 3. So that's going to be the cell in its corresponding row, whatever row is trying to solve for, and we're going to look in C in the C column. So that's 3. It's assigned to get area. So this is our function we defined up here, and now we will need to put in what our length is going to be and what our width is going to be. So our length is going to be cells, and it's going to be row again because we want the row to keep shifting. So it'll be row, and then we want it to come from the first column, and then cells row 2, and then we're going to say next row, and then we're going to end. Right. So the cells, look back at the the tutorial handout from lesson 12, and this goes into great detail about the cells as well as the textbook. But you could see now that we're going to say cell at a given row in column C is going to be equal to length times width from our area, and the length is going to come from the given row in the first column, and then the given row in the second column. So we're going to end the sub. We'll hit F5 and we'll run it, and you can see it automatically populated all of our areas. So this will be beneficial to you, especially in deliverable 2-1.